Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, sons and daughters, children of God. Thank you so much for dropping by. Um, Today we're going to have a little talk and a little practice around the most important topic in life: good and evil. Now, as human beings, we're very used to these words. Oh, that's good, that's evil. But that's not quite what I'm talking about. I'm talking about good and evil with a capital G. When I say good, I'm talking about God. When I say evil, I am talking about the devil. I am talking about, uh, when I say evil, what I'm talking about is that which is destructive to life, which is harmful to life, and wants to destroy everything good. And when I'm talking about good, what I'm talking about is that which is natural, that which is of God, that which was created by God, that which is God's, you could say God's will, or as this man, Bruno Gröning, said, God's harmony or order or balance or health. So I consider this the absolute most important topic for all of us, much less for all of us in May 2020 here on planet Earth. Why is this? Well, for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, now many people have problems with the word evil. I was one of them too. But all you need to do is reflect on the fact that here on this beautiful planet Earth, parents in this day and age right now are literally selling their children to become sex slaves. It's a common practice in impoverished countries. All you need to do to understand evil is to ask, what could cause someone to do that? All you need to reflect on is that, anything, of course, that's what I consider one of the most evil things on the planet. But the question is, how is it possible for someone to do that? Literally, how is it possible for a parent to do that? And this is not to judge those people. This is just literally to ask, because each and every one of us, to some extent, is up against this same force called evil. All you have to do is look at yourself and reflect on yourself, reflect on your life. Very easy example is when you feel full, you're having a meal. I've done this, I don't know, 100,000 times. I'm eating a meal and I feel full. My body literally is saying, okay, stop, no more. And then I say, oh, well, I'll just have a little more. And then a little more turns into a lot more, and then I don't feel well. Maybe an extreme example, I'm someone who in the past struggled with compulsive overeating. A little bit more would turn into a binge where I would get out of control with food. And I'm not the only person who's ever done that. So the question is, how on earth, when I got a very clear signal from my body that it was time to stop, how on earth, and this little thought came, oh, maybe just a little more. Where did that thought come from? And that's why the understanding of evil is such an important topic, because until we understand it, it drives us in little ways, such as eating a little bit past your full point, in medium ways, like doing something that's really harmful to yourself or other, like my example of binging on food, or really yelling at someone, really doing something really bad, or something extreme, like a parent selling their child into sex slavery, like actually killing someone, torture. The question is, what's behind all these things? And this man, Bruno Gröning, and I believe Jesus Christ, gave a very clear answer. Some of the details were lost in the record of what Christ taught. Bruno Gröning said very simply, it all comes down to evil. And how does evil operate? It sends us negative thoughts. We say yes to the thought, and then we have to act on the thought. The thought comes, hey, maybe just a little more. If I say no to that, then I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to eat anymore. But the thing is, most of us don't know to watch our thoughts. And so then, little by little, evil gains control of our lives. So let's take a little time and reflect on all of this. And this person, Bruno Gröning, he said it's very important that we come to self-knowledge, that we reflect on what we are and how we live so that we can understand and we can live. Most of us spend, our time figuring out um, sort of the specifics of life, like how do I make money, or how do I get a good partner, or how do I get in shape? All these little specific skills. But who among us has spent time asking how to live life on a very fundamental way? How to live? Well, this person did, and what he said is that he was just sharing the teachings of Christ. And one of those teachings is to become mindful of our thoughts like our life depends on it. So that's a lot. We've talked about evil, and we've talked about how evil operates, and that the prime way that evil operates is through sending us negative thoughts. Now let's spend a little time and reflect on this. And as we do this, let's take in healing life energy. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. For anyone who's new, it's very simple. Please observe your body, having the will, the intention to take that energy in. If you don't have a particular religious or spiritual orientation, it's very helpful, probably necessary, to have a spiritual helper, such as Bruno Gröning, such as Jesus Christ, such as a being that you really completely trust your soul with, and ask their help to both receive this energy and to free you from all evil. And we'll talk a little bit more about um, this energy and taking in. But now let's spend a little time practicing asking for help, firmly deciding I don't want to have anything to do with evil anymore, and then beginning to take in this energy through observing your body. Noticing what you feel. Being mindful of your thoughts, any thoughts that don't feel good or true or right, hand them over to the divine, to God, and ask for a good thought. Just observing your body, noticing what you feel. So, so we talked a little bit about evil. Well, I don't know about we. I talked a little bit about evil. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about good. So, Bruno Gröning used the word good in a very different way than most people. Sometimes he would refer to God as the good. Now, that's a radical statement. What is God? Well, according to Bruno Gröning, God is goodness itself, harmony, life, love. It's a very different definition of God than most people have on this planet. The majority of people on this planet who believe in God believe that God is a wrathful, punishing, vengeful being. That if you don't obey God's will, you're going to, worst case scenario, you'll be tortured forever. However, Bruno Gröning was adamant. God, the good, never punishes. So right from there, without stepping into any theological discussion or debate or dialogue, Bruno Gröning, in essence, said that most people on this planet don't understand God. He also pointed out that God is everywhere and in everything, all around us, closer than close, closer than we can even fathom, inside of us. It's a profound mystery, which I won't say more about. It's something for each of us to have, not to take on a belief system, but have a direct experience on the closeness and nearness of this goodness. And Bruno Gröning spoke of the spiritual path as sanctification. Now, sanctify isn't a word we use so much in English anymore. It means to make holy. For example, let's say with a new church is built somewhere, and maybe a specific denomination, once a church is built, there's a specific ritual maybe they have, or they don't have a specific ritual, but the first prayer that they have in dedicating that church to God, to the service of God. That would be an example of sanctification, to make something holy. Another meaning of it, which is what Bruno Gröning was referring to, was the process of being made more holy, a cleansing process. So I spoke about how we take in negative thoughts, and through that, negative actions occur. But Bruno Gröning also spoke of evil, in essence, as an energy, that when we take in these negative thoughts, we also take in a negative energy, and also we can take in negative feelings. This, he said, gets stored inside of our body. all forms of disharmony in our body, he said, are from evil. End of story. No ifs, ands, or buts. And the way to overcome it, he said, is to take in divine life energy, the energy of God, the one thing in this universe that is stronger than evil. He was very much in favor of natural healthy things. And he pointed out that there's only one thing that can help us overcome evil, and that is good with a capital G. And I don't think it's a coincidence that in English, if you the word good, if you take out one O, what do you have? G-O-D. And so he taught a very simple method of taking in this healing life energy to help us free ourselves, to help us become sanctified. He called it Einstellen, a German word with many meanings, such as tuning in, taking in, focusing. The meaning I think is the most accurate is attuning ourselves to God. In essence, aligning. That's another meaning of Einstellen, aligning ourselves with God. Another meaning, this is one of the most interesting meanings, is to place in an upright position. Very interesting if you think about it, to align ourselves, to put ourselves in our proper place, upright, in alignment with God. So to do this, he taught people to sit with their legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, hands on their legs, palms facing upwards, back in an upright position, not leaning against a chair if possible. And then he said to put aside all thoughts of illness, to really separate yourself from everything not good in the body. He said through dwelling on what's not good, that's how we literally maintain it. We keep it in us to separate ourselves from the idea of evil. So for example, if you have, let's say you have an injury in your shoulder, then what Bruno Gröning instructs people to do is separate yourself from the idea of injury. You may have the exact same sensations, but to quit thinking, oh, my shoulder's injured. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, it's never going to heal. Oh, it's not getting better. Oh, it feels a little better today, but I still have an injured shoulder. To quit thinking about it. I think it was the Buddha who said every thought is a prayer. So if that's true, and I believe it's true, I don't know whether the Buddha said it or not, but I think that's a truth. I think that's very true. Every thought is a prayer. So every time we think about something that's harmful or bad, it's almost as if we're saying, God, please, can I continue to have that? In essence, it's saying, I am sick. Not a good prayer. Not a good prayer at all. So let's separate ourselves from everything not good. All illnesses. And he said to put your entire attention on healing. We have this paradigm, we have this habit of just dwelling on problems. Well, it's time to take up a new habit, and that's dwelling on the healing power of God that is sanctifying us, purifying us, and cleansing us. It's a new habit. It's a new way of thinking as we go through the day to have the thought, I am being purified and healed now by God. You may have your own way of saying it. If you have your own way of saying it, please type it in. But to really put our attention on wellness and health and happiness, which Bruno Gröning said are natural. And then asking to receive this energy. And then observing your body. Trusting that every sensation is now a step towards your recovery. Even if you have the same sensations as before, now that you, in essence, have given away the idea of illness, you don't have an illness anymore. The way I language it is you have a healing in process. I've experienced it myself. This way of thinking, I'll be honest, when I first heard it, I thought it sounded crazy. And then I tried it and it worked. which is why I'm utterly convinced that this is the truth. Don't take my word for it. Find out for yourself. This isn't a religion where you're supposed to believe what I say, believe what he says. This is a spiritual path in which this guy, and then me, if I'm doing my job right, accurately conveying his words, we're inviting you to try something new and see how it works and have an experience. So then you can know the truth in the essence of your bones. So, putting aside the illness, bringing our attention to healing, asking to receive this divine energy, observing our bodies, trusting that every sensation is now a step towards our recovery. Let's do this now. So Bruno Gröning likened us human beings to a battery that we need to keep ourselves charged with this good energy, primarily so that we can, not only because it feels good and because it's natural, but so that we can, as he said, calmly oppose evil. That we can, when negative thoughts come, when negative situations come, we can just stay centered in ourselves, full of good feelings, and say, no, thank you. So I encourage people to do this every day. Bruno Gröning said we need to do this every day. You know, as human beings, we know we need to eat every day. We know we need to drink every day, and hopefully we shower every day or bathe or whatnot. But we've forgotten that we're spiritual beings and that we're energetic beings and that we need to take in life energy every day. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining in. If you're new to all this, you can find out more information at my website, which I am typing in right now. And please take to heart the simple words that Bruno Gröning said. God is the supreme physician for all of humanity, meaning every problem has a singular solution, the ultimate power that made us, that is, in essence, our loving parent. Thank you so much for joining in. Take care. Much love.